right. We're back. I got to tell you, there are true heroes in America, folks. And I'm going to introduce you to one of them today. You know, I posted this up on our Facebook page yesterday. And I want you to go out to our Facebook page or our website, and I want you to get a hold of this story, and then I want you to share it nationwide. But I don't want you to just share it and say how cool this is. I want you to share it with the intent that you say to everyone else, what can you do to match this? What business are you in that you can step up and say, I'll step in and do my part to help protect and defend and provide for these veterans that we have so brusquely abused? Stone Oak Ophthalmology and Dr. Kristen Story Held, have stepped up to the plate. They posted up on Facebook the other day. If you are a South Texas veteran who cannot access the VA for needed eye surgery or ophthalmic or visual problems, please friend me on Facebook and message me, or call my office at 210-490-6759, or contact me at stoneoakeyes.com. That's stone like a rock, oak like a tree, eyes like those two things in your head that you try not to believe. stoneoakeyes.com. Why? Because she goes on to say, and man, I got to tell you, this is touching. She goes on to say, I cannot sit by while our brave men and women lose their vision or stroke, or worse yet, or worse, sitting on some secret waiting list. This is on my heart, and I'm not worthy, but I'm humbled to care for you great Americans. She says, I don't know the extent of the access problem in South Texas, but I'll just start and end each clinic serving a vet who cannot get the medical care they need at the VA. I can see someone at 7:45 tomorrow morning. Just let me know. I believe in the Hippocratic Oath and that all patient info is 100% sacred and private. We've got this. In honor of those who went before us, happy Memorial Day. Well, let me tell you something. One, what really blows me away about it is not the fact that she's offering. That's stunning. But the urgency that she applies to it when she says, I can see someone at 7:45 tomorrow morning. You know why that matters? Because she's saying everything stops. And I am willing to have the courage of my convictions and do what needs to be done. And I'm willing to do it right here, right now. At 7:45 tomorrow morning, who needs my help? The example that is providing for you, and I don't care what business you're in, I don't care what you do, if you're not in a business where you can help, if you're not in the medical community, I get it. What you can do is you can call Dr. Story Held, Kristen. I'm going to call her Kristen because I don't know I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that last name right, and I don't know whether it's hyphenated or what. But I can tell you this. You can call Dr. Kristen and you can say to her, you know what? I'm willing to throw $50 or $100 or whatever it is to your organization to help cover the cost. And if you can't do it with her, then find some clinic in your area that will do the same. In fact, if you are not part of a medical community that can step up and help a vet, then ask yourself this. What's to stop you from going to somebody in a clinic in your community, someplace where you know someone in the facility, you know someone in the office. Maybe you don't even know someone in the office. Maybe you and a couple of friends get together and you say, you know what? Let's approach all the urgent care clinics and all the small clinics. You don't have to go to the big hospitals. There's too much paperwork and crap with them. They'll figure out a way to bury it in bureaucracy. So go to the smaller clinics. Go to the local doctors in your community and say, how many of you are willing to step up and see 1 or 3 or 5 patients a day until this crisis gets resolved? How many of you? Well, I can't do anything. I'm only one person. Stop right there. You just got a mission assigned and appointed. Now, what are you going to do with it? Like Dr. Held, you can have the courage of your convictions and go knock on a doctor's door and say, you don't know me, but I'm going to ask you to do your nation a favor today. When you get a list of these doctors, go to your local newspaper and put their name up there. Put some flyers around in all the shopping centers and in all the other stores. If you're a vet and you've been waiting on a list, here's a number you can call. You see, one of the things we keep hearing is, well, charity should always be a community-based thing. Then we wouldn't need to have this massive social welfare state. You're right. We wouldn't need everybody on welfare and food stamps if our communities did it. Now, I get it. We've all been trained out of that. And frankly, at this stage in the game, we've all been taxed out of the ability to do it locally. We're paying so much to the government to do it. Then, of course, they misuse it and scoop most of it for themselves. And like most charities, 10% of it, if they're lucky, gets to the actual recipient who deserves it or who it was intended for. But this is something that you can do, and you can play an active role, and it won't cost you anything. Time, a couple of phone calls, maybe a few office visits that you can't bill for. No paperwork, none necessary. Just ask that they bring their DD-214 or their veteran's ID card. Don't keep a record. Don't submit anything to the insurance company. Just do the right thing. Dr. Kristen Held, she's certified by the American Board of Ophthalmology. She's a fellow of the American Academy of Ophthalmology and a member of the American Society of Cataract and Refractive Surgery. She's a graduate of the University of Texas, Phi Beta Kappa. She was named Outstanding Student, apparently, that year. She received her MD degree from the University of Texas Health Science Center at San Antonio. She specializes in cataract and refractive surgery, including LASIK. Their office is called Stone Oak Ophthalmology Center. And she's not alone there. There's also another doctor there called Dr. Allison Young. If you cannot participate in any other way, and you can't think creatively because you've been so indoctrinated into never stepping outside of your box of comfort, then the worst that you can do, the one thing that you might do to help yourself and help this situation is to pick up the phone and call 210-490-6759 and just say, thank you for doing the right thing. Can I throw $50 at you? Can I mail you a check for $20? Maybe they don't need it. I'm sure they do, but who knows? See, what I'm trying to show you, America, is that there are solutions, but we've got to start thinking creatively outside the box, and we must take action now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not if Congress doesn't fix it, not if the media doesn't get the word out. Now. Now. Today's the day. Don't wait. Don't even think, you know. You all have seen me post that post up on our Facebook page. You know, number one thing you bring to a gunfight is a gun. And the rule number 2 is if you ain't shooting, you better be moving. In this case, it's the same thing. Shoot and move. 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 Move. Do something. Every one of you has an individual opportunity to take a leadership role. I don't care if you're leading 1 or you're leading 10 million. You have a role to play. And you have a leadership position that can change this situation to our benefit. Dr. Held has taken her role as leader, and she's acting upon it. God bless her for having the courage of her convictions to stand up and say, you know what, maybe I can't afford it. Maybe this is going to, what happens if I get too many phone calls? Okay. Then maybe she can contact somebody else in the ophthalmology association and say, hey, guys, I got overflow here. Can somebody else step in? I got 5 guys that are in dire need. I'm not an eye doctor. I'm a dentist. Boom. Perfect. I get it. All you sell is your time, and all you sell is your skill. Put some up for the right reasons. Put some up for a good cause, and this would be it. You know something? In her bio, she has here that Dr. Held was named in 2009 the Pillar of Responsibility by the Northside Education Foundation. Boy, does that name fit her or what? The Pillar of Responsibility. She's a physician advocate for the responsible, patient-centered healthcare reform, involved in preserving the sanctity of the doctor-patient relationship and the noble profession of medicine. She serves on a task force of physicians who have actually read the newly passed Health Care Act and has presented her findings in Washington, D.C. Her comments have been heard and read on the Sean Hannity Show and the Cavuto Show, as well as locally on their station 550 KTSA. She's committed to providing each patient with the best possible individualized, innovative medical care available. She invites you to visit the website Doctors4, that's the number 4. Docs for Patient Care. That's DOCS 4 patientcare.org. There you can get more information regarding the Health Care Act and what doctors around the country are doing to preserve the doctor-patient relationship. Their mission statement at Doc for Patients Care is, we are an organization of concerned physicians committed to the establishment of a healthcare system that preserves the sanctity of the doctor-patient relationship, promotes quality of care, supports affordable access to all Americans, and protect patients' freedom of choice. We urge patients and physicians to get involved in order to preserve the good qualities of our healthcare system, address the problems, while preventing its bureaucratic destruction. Wow. Wow. See, she doesn't just win the title of pillar of responsibility. She's exemplifying that because she's stepping up to the plate as a leader to do her part. You all have heard me talk about this leadership role over and over and over and over. Here's a perfect, living, breathing example. And now I'm throwing down the gauntlet of challenge to you. What can you do? I want you to have a conversation with yourself today. What can I do creatively to make a difference? Let me think outside the box. Doesn't have to cost you money. I don't care if you're a contractor. Put it out there. Is there a guy who's a member of the VA who's got cancer or something like that, and maybe they just need a door frame hung? Maybe their family needs a little help fixing the front porch. Doesn't have to cost you money. Doesn't have to be something where you drop everything else. It can be in what you do every day. If you're a plumber, get the word out there. I've looked at some vets who are living in some really deplorable conditions. How many of them would put their hands together and say, praise God that somebody came and fixed our sink? Helped them put in a new water heater. Help them fix the garage door. Maybe got their car running a little bit better and gave it a tune-up and an oil change. The question is, what are you going to do? And I mean today. You see, Dr. Story, Dr. Held, Dr. Kristen Held, she didn't turn around and say, if you're a vet and you got a problem, give us a call. We'll see what we can do. She said, if you're a vet, you can get on and friend me on Facebook and send me an instant message. Or you can call my office, or you can call me and you can contact me off my website. But I can see someone at 7:45 tomorrow morning. That's the difference. I can see someone tomorrow morning. Maybe you've got to start your work a little early. Maybe you've got to get out there a little bit earlier than you normally would and swing by that vet's house and take a look. And even if you can't fix it right then and there, at least you know what you need, and maybe you can go get the supplies. And then you can swing back and on your lunch hour, sweat in that hot water heater. Maybe get that air conditioner fixed. Pick up the car, drive it over to your shop. Get the work done. It's not just this medical issue, guys. It's more than that. I know our government has absolutely failed. Does that mean that we continue to leave it in their hands? Or do we do something about it? I mean, we can sit here and we can say, the government's left all these people destitute without care. And we've already paid through our taxes, so we're just going to scream and yell. Or you can say, clearly the government's dropped the ball, and it's up to us to step up to the plate and do what we've got to do. If you're a hospital administrator, a nurse, get a committee together and say, what can we do as a community to say, we're going to take care of our own vets right here in our town, right here in our community. Maybe you're an orthopedist. Maybe you have an X-ray lab. Maybe you can do MRIs. It doesn't matter what it is. Every little bit counts. And if you're none of those things and you say, heck, I don't know anything about medical, then okay. Contact every doctor's office that you can find in the phone book and say, I'm putting together a spreadsheet because I'm a good organizer. And I don't know a doggone thing about medical, but I'm willing to stand here and coordinate and make sure that the vets know who they can go to. So, Dr. So-and-so, can I put you down to see 2 patients a day? It's up to you, folks. We can sit here and we can snivel and whine and cry. We can show outrage. But if we do nothing to correct the problem, then we are the problem. Dr. Kristen Held, thank you. Because if you're the first impetus, and maybe you're not the only one, and if I don't know about others that are out there doing this, I'm certainly not taking anything away from you. But you I heard about. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you for having the courage of your convictions, for doing the right thing, for being a pillar of responsibility when everybody else was silent. I appreciate you. And I know that there will be plenty of men and women who will come through your doors that will echo that sentiment. If you're in the San Antonio area and you need help, in fact, she says the South Texas. So I'm not really familiar enough with South Texas, but here's the phone information again. Area code 210-490-6759. Or it's Stone Oak Eyes. Stone Oak Eyes. Dr. Kristen Held is seeing patients. She's doing her part. She's taken that responsibility, that mantle as the pillar of responsibility, and she's running with it like a leader. You've been listening to America's Voice Now. If there's any way that you can help, then I strongly encourage you to get creative. If you want me to try to help coordinate it, maybe that's something that I can do. You can email me. You know how to reach me, mike@americasvoicenow.org. That's mike@americasvoicenow.org. But this isn't something that should be done on a national basis. This has to be local. There's people hurting now. They need help now. We can't wait for these buffoons in Washington to step up and do the right thing. They need your help. Will you take the challenge? Dr. Kristen Story Held has. And she should be a perfect example for every one of us. And it's not just limited to medical. Be creative. Think outside the box. If you're a farmer, maybe they need some fresh milk. You've been listening to America's Voice Now. You can communicate with me directly at mike@americasvoicenow.org. Please visit our website at americasvoicenow.org. Please jump to our Facebook page. You can get there by going to facebook.com/America's Voice Now. You can find us on YouTube, where you can see every program that we do. We've got almost 1,000 videos up there. You can get to them by going to youtube.com/America's Voice Now. You'll have a great day. Thank you very much for joining with us and riding with us today. Greatly appreciate you. If you want to communicate with me directly, it's Mike@americasvoicenow.org. Good day and God bless.